So I was just 350 JP in the house, and they went around and got a lot of the information from a lot of these other tribes and these other villagers and these all over the place. Tomb ratings and stuff, and watching birds, like the guy who made that book, Still Germs and something else. I forgot the name of the book. But he straight up said he became a professional bird expert. But it wasn't because he went out and actually did it. It was a lot of information that the people who were there on Papua New Guinea, which were black people, you need to go out there and look at them. They told him, and then he took the information, published it, and then he's an expert, because he introduced it to I guess his science associations and stuff like that, or bird watching associations and stuff like that. But the whole thing is you need to understand what you're up against, and the reason that you don't understand is because a lot of times you were just distracted, and that's why the name is Distracted, and that's all it is. Because like there's this book called Born to Run or something like that, and I bought it, and it talks about how these people in some village somewhere in South America or something like that, where they can run for hundreds of miles and don't get tired, don't get hurt and stuff like that. So I definitely bought that book and I'm gonna read it. But your body is made to endure almost anything on this earth. Running and jumping and sciences and learning and stuff like that. You're like a perfect machine. And what makes it even better is because of the melanin that's in your body. It's everywhere. So when the sun comes out, you get in the sunlight. I know you feel it charging you up. It's like you're getting charged up, and that melanin starts going. And there's things out there, that you need to study. And as you start to doing it, because no one really knows how, no one really knows how melanin works. So they really can't explain it. But as far as I think it does, is it actually enlightens you. And the more you run, like there's this book by John Medina, you need to check it out. But he only got 2 books, so you know which one it is. And John Medina, John, capital Medina, and he got these books about how exercising and studying works together. Basically what he's saying, well, basically you need to read it, and it's really interesting. And that's another thing too, because I've always noticed it, and this is what I've noticed. The more active you are, it seems like the more intelligent you are. The less active it is, the more duller you are and stuff like that. So you need to do things to generate more excitement, or more how can I say that? More flow through your body. And you do that, and it'll just create all new kinds of channels and stuff in your mind and in your body. You get stronger. You eat properly, because like if you're fat, then all that means is you have money, because you wasted money on something, and that means you're just fat because you wasting your money, and that's it. If you eat healthy, eat fruits in the morning instead of eating cereals and stuff like that. Make a salad, and eat some fruit and stuff like that. Drink some juice. That is so much better than eating, sweet cereals and stuff like that. And you don't even have to put regular cow milk, dairy products in your food. I used to eat bran flakes with juices, pineapple juice, and put it in. It might sound strange, but you'll get used to it. It's no difference than, I remember when I was young, and I listened to some of these old rap songs and stuff, the old ones, the good ones back in the days, and they said, yeah, you had to eat your cereal with some water. And actually eating cereal with water is not a bad thing. Of course, if it's not filtered and everything, but it really isn't a bad thing, because the taste is in the cereal itself. So you eat oatmeal. If you want to put honey in it, that's fine. If you want to put fruit in it, that's great. If you want to, you don't want to be so dry, you get some 100% fruit juice and stuff. And those are just ways to save your money. But I'm kind of getting off the subject. So basically what I'm saying is you have to understand what you are being conditioned to be, okay? And you're conditioned to be a product of a system that uses you to make profit. Now you're on YouTube and stuff like that, and these guys are saying like, oh, or just because you were a slave, you making these statements because you were slaves and stuff like that. But you gotta understand something. You guys gotta understand it. And you gotta understand. You gotta understand. You could only be the slave masters were the rich ones. If they didn't have money, then they had to and they was like poor white farmers. They had to rent slaves and pay interest. And most of those slave owners were, I think they were Jewish. And I'm not talking about like Jewish religion, people like that, which is those people in those religions and stuff like that. And you could read their books, go online and go to their sites, and they got all of that stuff, and they're the ones that's pretty much, if you read that book, like it's this book, The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews it's an anthology. Anthology means a bunch of collected, written articles or whatever by other people concerning certain subjects that were taken from those readings and made into a book. So they didn't make up that stuff themselves. Everything is there, and it was pretty much them, the ones who started it, slavery, over here in actually it got started off in the islands off of Brazil, and in Brazil, that's why Brazil. I think it was the Portuguese or the Holland people from Holland. I think it was Holland, or something, the East West or something. But basically, they're the ones that started it, and then as people, I don't know, because it's like when you got money, people just think you're a god, and they just listen to everything you have to say, And United States was not a slave country, but when they came up, they talked to George Washington and told him to make slavery legal, and I guess they probably gave him a lot of money and gave him a lot of money, and then gave him some slaves too, because he wasn't rich at all. And then I guess they manipulated Congress and stuff and made a declaration, because had it been for England, would have took over and stuff like that, they would have lost a lot of money, because they would have lost the slavery and stuff like that, and we would have got all the free money. And then, if you read their books, they know, the reason Jewish people are rich nowadays is because of slavery, and slavery was nothing to, the main point about slavery was just free labor, and that was it. But they had to condition other people to follow the rules of slavery. So instead of what they did to make us slaves, where they made us rely on our emotions instead of our mind, and they did the same thing to everyone else. Everyone is pretty much emotionally controlled and stuff like that. And if and everybody's, they got these trigger words. You might say something and somebody gonna get all emotional, instead of saying, well, why are you saying it, and thinking with their head. So basically, that's what's going on in the world. Everyone's just getting all emotional about things. Like today, one might do, black man videos. This guy, he called this Japanese girl, said she like black men, white men, and stuff like that. But love is it's nothing about sex. It's just more or less respect. And so he was like, well, why are you saying that? I called her stupid Japanese bee and stuff like that. So I emailed and said, why are you saying that? And he said, because it is. And so I wrote him a long letter, private message, and told him what's going on in Japan and the whole thing that's going on in Japan. These guys just aren't talking to the women, and they're boring and stuff like that. And I said, if you want to change it, this is what you do, and stuff like that. But basically what it was, and then he apologized, right? Because he said it's the truth, So basically what I'm saying is, I could have gotten emotional and said, oh, forget you, and we could have been going back and forth. But instead of doing that, I'm saying, well, hey, look at the problem. This is what the problem is. The problem is that Japanese men do not talk to Japanese women, period blank. That's the number one problem. And then the number two is going to be, if a girl do fall in love with some Japanese guy and want to marry, then the parents get jealous, and then they'll make the kid, make her break up with him. And that's it. And then the girl and the guy grow up, don't ever get married and stuff, and then the parents like, oh, I wish we would have did that, because usually girls and guys, they get that one chance, and that's it. And the parents, they just blow it, because they just messing up. But, and that's just emotional. That's just emotional. You know what I'm saying? That's just emotional. So basically, the whole thing that's going on is that you're out there being emotionally controlled by these people and stuff, and you need to understand that and stop becoming emotional and let your mind and stuff like that take over your emotions. And this, I mean, sometimes it could be difficult to do, but a lot of times it's easy. You know, it just takes a little thinking and just a little relaxing and breathing and stuff like that to do. And once you do it, I mean, I'm looking at this girl, right, this Japanese girl next to me from the side, and I swear, you know, they jaws protrude out just like ours. You know, it's a trip. I want to make a video like that too. But I'm just saying, you know, get control of your mind. If you're young and you're still living at home, respect your mom. You know, give the power of raising you back to her. Or, I mean, take the power of raising you from the authorities and give it back to your mother. Because, I mean, unless you really have a bad mother or a bad father, but the things that they're telling you, they're only there just to help you, you know. And it's more or less like this, right? You can go out and you can smoke whatever you smoke and drink whatever, and you feeling good, you know. And then you can walk down and you can go home and you feel good. But when you're doing that, what have you learned? What have you doing that those type of activities? What did you get out of it that can help you make money in a way where the police and the system cannot touch you, where it's all positive, you know, where you're gonna make people want to be around you because of the goodness that you can help people with and stuff. Like on my videos, my GSD50JPN videos, you know, I just, you know, just start talking and a lot, and I get letters, you know, all the time, you know, saying, you know, thank you, you know, for your videos. You know, I straightened up and now I'm in college, and had it not been for your videos, I wouldn't have done this. Or I get like these guys, you know, they're telling me that they're getting their master's degrees and they BA degrees, and you know, a couple of people is telling me they've started their own business and stuff like that. And I'm like, wow, you know. And I mean, to me, you know, it's not like, I don't know, when people say thank you, I really don't know how to accept it, because I don't know how to get emotional over that stuff, because I wasn't trained to. So I'm just thinking to myself like, wow, that's good, you know. And I'll send a message like one time. Sometimes I'm like, oh, well, let's get off the subject. Anyway, I get these messages and stuff like that, and those are just people who actually did things that produce future opportunities and things like that. Like this one guy, I think he's in New York or something. He said he went to 10 different interviews and they said something, you know, he wasn't good. So he wrote back and said, hey, I know I'm more qualified than the other people that you did this and that, and you just don't want to hire me because I'm black or something like that. When you put him on the spot like that, but I mean, he probably said it more in a more intelligent way, you know. And one of the companies wrote back and said, oh, we're sorry, we're going to hire you. Bam. And they got, you know, hired. You know, and that was because when you get emotionally attacked, you shut that emotions off and you use your mind, because all emotion does is just generate. It's just, all emotions are, it's just the, how can I say that? A triggering of your organs or your hormones and stuff like that. And it's just stimulation. That's all. Your body gets stimulated. So if a problem happens and instead of thinking about what to do, but you're thinking about doing it, you're bypassing your mind and you go into your emotions, and it's according to words to use. So I'm thinking more or less the vibrations of the conversation is going to make you act a certain ways. And then you watch a TV and somebody call you a nigga. Oh, you can call me a nigga. I'm going to do this because you know you've been trained to act this way, instead of saying, hey, you know, that's cool, but do you know what the word nigga means? Nigga is a word that was used way back in Cambodia like so many years ago, and it was the people, the chosen people who were black, that their black god named Sambo named them, and Sambo was the first. He's a black. He's the only god. He was the first god and all that stuff. And I was, and my friends Venus, you know, they reminded me. It was really interesting that it was Denny's. I think it was Denny's or some place over there on Lincoln Boulevard, this restaurant, and it was named Sambo's. And I remember that, you know, when I was out there, you know. So, hold on.